All right, we are live, and we're going to wait another minute, let everyone roll on in, and a lot to cover today. Next week, we really start for real, so this is our preseason week right here, so get everybody in, Somehow, there's one video that I do that I don't know. I got to get my assistant to fix this camera, because for whatever reason, it comes up like I have a filter on, and I looking right now and it says visual effects. There's a button to click for enhanced skin appearance. Mine isn't clicked. So I don't know. She's got to check it, because for half the videos, it doesn't come out like that. And for half it does. With that said, give it 1 minute. Let everybody roll in. I'm going to answer Dennis's question really quickly. Great question. And please, that's what this is for. I work for you in the SteamRoom. Every week, subscribers, long-term guys, you get 4 of these a month at minimum. My goal is to add more now with football here, because we're going to be moving to Sundays, not next week, the following week. With the start of NFL, we move to Sundays. But my goal is to have a Saturday one at least once a month, because there's a lot to cover on Saturdays. And if I could throw another one once a month, a weekday one, that's the goal. So we could go over other topics like other investments, stocks, crypto, commodities. I've explained to the subscribers in the SteamRoom, my long-term guys, exactly where that information comes from, exactly the results I've had to date with that information. But now let's get back to why we're here. Saturday action, SteamRoom. Let's answer Dennis's question. He said, what determines the classifications of a sharp? Would Phil Steele, Billy Walters be sharps, or just extremely knowledgeable at betting lines? No. Billy Walters, sharp, 110%. That's a wise guy. Phil Steele, sharp in college football. Would I bet his other stuff? Probably not. Like, would I be afraid to book his other stuff? No. But college football, do I think he's positive EV? I think he's proven that throughout his long career, because not only is it hard enough to win for yourself like Billy Walters has done, we know that, but Phil Steele's been able to win for others. And that's a special, like, extra gift, because Billy's able to take advantage of a lot of time-sensitive information, but then to use that, not saying Billy couldn't release also, but what I mean is he also has a lot of time-sensitive information. Yeah, and the simple definition of a sharp is a sports bettor that knows how to be, has the ability to be positive EV, a positive EV sports bettor, meaning they know how to place bets in an inefficient market. They know how to bet size correctly. They know what numbers to look for. They know what numbers to pass on. They don't bet for action. But not all sharp bettors are profitable. That's the difference. Okay, there's a lot of sharp bettors out there. Not all of them are profitable, because knowing what to do and doing it are two completely different things. I take it back to blackjack. No better example than blackjack. If you join me long-term, we have a long-term special, and I don't know why we're doing this, but we'll do it till football kicks off. Okay. If you sign up with me long-term, you get the blackjack course. This blackjack course, I personally paid over $5,000 to take. This was like 5-7 years ago. And my course is better than that. The only difference is with my course, you don't get to go home with green felt and a discard rack and a tray that you could buy on Amazon for $40. That's the only difference. But what you do get is exact blueprint to make you a favorite versus the casino. Meaning, just that course alone that you get with the long-term subscription, and we're giving it for free. This is we're giving the blackjack course, the $1,000 course, for free. Okay. And in that course, the reason I want my sports bettors, my subscribers to have it, is because so much of it crosses over to sports betting. So much of it. Edge is almost identical. The big difference is With blackjack, you see the long term in real time. In sports, we always say the long term, the long term, the long term. But what is the long term? I know betting syndicates look at the long term as at least 1,000 bets. Like they won't work with you unless you have a sample size of 1,000 bets. Because after 1,000 bets, they believe you're now a favorite to be able to repeat that over your next 1,000 bets. All right. To place 1,000 bets takes a while in sports. You're betting, even if you're betting 5 bets a day, to get 1,000 bets in, you need 200 days. That's 6+ months just to get 1,000 bets. In blackjack, I find myself a fast dealer and we're playing one-on-one. I could get up to 200 hands an hour. I need 5 hours to make what it takes 6 months in sports bets. So in those 5 hours, I was able to see that as long as I followed the exact blueprint that's in the blackjack course, bet sized exactly what is taught, and I'm funded properly, there's nothing they can do. I'm going to print money. I am going to take their money, and there's nothing they could do about it. You become the house. Like the house has a built-in edge. They know that no matter how many people are playing slots, they're going to make money off it. No matter how many people are playing roulette, they know they're going to profit. They have a built-in edge. No matter how many are betting sports, they know we're going to make 4.5% on every 100 that's bet at minimum. They know that built in. Well, following that exact blackjack course, you will have about a 2%, 1.5%, 2% edge long term. That's enough that they wrote books and made movies about these guys. Now, the key to that blackjack course is not just that you learn exactly what to do, what not to do, what games to play, what games not to play. But more importantly, I spent a lot of time showing you how to get away with it and how to do it in the casino setting. Because I can teach anyone who's passionate and driven how to be an advantage blackjack player. If you could add, subtract, multiply, and divide, I will make you an advantage blackjack player. I will make you the favorite versus the casino. And there's zero doubt in my mind that will happen if you practice at home. But can you get away with it in the casino setting with the cocktail waitress, the pit boss is staring at you, the dealer there, the drunk guy next to you? Can you still keep your count and keep your cool? Can you lose 6 hands in a row and still bet size correctly? Can you go from max betting 5 straight hands to now the count tells you got to drop your bet to $5 and you just lost 5 $100 hands? Can you do that? Be down $800 and go down back to $5 a hand because that's what the count demands? If you can do that, you could print money with that blackjack course. And there's nothing they can do about it except back you up. What I do is teach you so that this doesn't happen to you. Exactly what's happening to me. And you know why they're throwing me out? They don't know I'm going to win that day. Dude, I may have $1,000 in my pocket. They have unlimited bankroll. And in the short term, I'm not going to play 5,000 hands. But here's what they do know, that I'm the favorite. They know that I'm going to place my biggest bets when I have the edge. And when I don't, I'm going to place my smallest.
This is ridiculous.
And when the count tells me to do it in basic strategy, I'm going to do exactly what I'm supposed to do every single time. And they know that as long as I do that, I'm the favorite.
Last week, I come to bet sports. They tell me,
like
oh, the limit's
sport time I could lose. There's nothing that can happen. But they know. They know. If they're long enough and they deal me, I'm taking their money.
I have enough any bet.
I show you that in that
Like, I know I bet it.
It doesn't take you more than 7, 8, 9 less.
But I'm not playing any
Three or
advantage.
four of them, you'll
Like,
know
you're
how to
eyeing the
count.
sky. It's amateur hour.
You could probably learn that online.
Like, I'm killing time.
That's
while my
not
girls
how
have
you
sushi.
make money
I
playing
swear.
blackjack.
Like,
that doesn't make you an advantage blackjack player, as is taught to you by that course. And here's why it's so important, because it'll show you in blackjack exactly what the swings look like when you have an edge of 2%. And remember, if you're a sports bettor, what do you think your edge is? How good do you think you are? You think you're a 10% guy? That you're able to find 10% inefficiencies? Well, you have to overcome the 4.5%, 5% already that's built into the price. So after that 5%, you have a 5% edge. That's if you're the 0.00000000001% of the sports bettors on the planet. if you're the 0.1% that actually does turn a profit, right? Like we're fortunate we're doing, then that's the key. Now listen, when with the blackjack and sports betting, our edge is almost exact because most of us have that. Over that 4.5%, we may have a 2% edge, 3% edge on some bets, 1% edge. That's what you have, just like in blackjack. But in blackjack, you'll see the long term in real time. And more importantly, you'll understand what risk of ruin means. For a gambler, that there's nothing more important. Forget picks, forget everything else. Risk of ruin is the holy grail for sports bettors. Once you know you're profitable, once you're positive EV, you get to determine what your risk of ruin is. And that means what unit size will break me the quickest, the shortest. You get to determine that. So let's say I work personally with a 20% risk of ruin. I'm comfortable with that. I've done this long enough. I have the capital where I know I'm going to double my bank 8 out of 10 times, but I'm also going to lose it 2 out of 10 times. I know that going in, even with an edge. This is why this is so important, because even with an edge, I will lose my bankroll 2 out of 10 times. To do that, I need 400 units. I need 400 units to have a 20% risk of ruin. So that means if I'm betting $25 a unit, I need $10,000. How many sports bettors out there have a $10,000 bankroll and are betting $25 a unit? Not many, right? Very few. Now you know why 99.5% of sports bettors lose money. Now you know why these sports books print money hand over fist. Now you know why they're able to give out these crazy bonuses that they give out. And they're begging, they're anything. Get us players, get us players, get us players, get us players. Because they know 99.5% of all accounts that will open are going to lose money. That's not my opinion, bro. That's fact. These are publicly traded companies. That's a known fact. It used to be 1% is profitable. Now it's about 0.5%. People haven't gotten sharper. The more options have made people square, and the added juice has increased their return even more. Their hold is even greater than ever before because more novice bettors are entering the fold every day that don't care if they're laying 115, 118, 113. They don't realize try to get it down to cut 105 so that you have to win at a lower percentage and still be profitable. They're not thinking in those terms. They're betting teams. They're betting for action. They don't bet like we do. This is the stuff that we cover in the blackjack course, believe it or not, because you determine your risk of ruin. And I get back to that simple question. What is your unit size? And what are you comfortable with your risk of ruin? Let's say you want a 10% risk of ruin. You want to work 90-10, where you double your bank 9 out of 10 times. You can do that. If you have an edge, you can do that. You need 500 units. So if you're betting $10 a unit, you need $5,000. But you will be at a 90-10 risk of ruin, meaning if you're a winning sports bettor, you're going to double your bank 9 out of 10 times. Now, it's going to take you a while to happen because you're betting $10 or spreading, I do 1x to 5x, 10 to 50, you'd be betting. Still, how many out there with 5 dimes are betting $10 a unit? $50 on their best bets and never going above 50. You could have a 1% risk of ruin. I know blackjack groups out there that work with a 1% risk of ruin where they know they're going to double their bank 99 out of 100 times. But here's what they need for that, 1,000 units. So if they're betting $100, they need 100,000. If they're playing black chips, they're playing at the black chip table, they need 100 dimes. That's what they're working with. Their counters are leaving with 100 dimes. They're not working with less than 100 dimes at $100 a unit. And they're working with a 99% 1% risk of ruin, 99% that will double their bank. That's the math. Again, this isn't my opinion. This is the math. But do you have the discipline? Do you have the patience that it takes to build wealth that way? Well, we know 99% don't. And not just sports betting, same with stocks, same with crypto. It's the exact same. That's why I tell you, that's why the blackjack is so important, because it sets your mind correct. I wasn't a winning sports bettor until I became a winning blackjack player, because I kept making the same mistake over and over. I was over betting my advantage. I had access to the sharpest information on the planet, bro. I was a runner before there was the internet. Okay? I was moving steam before there was the freaking internet and live line updates. That's how big of an edge we had. And I still managed to lose money while the betting syndicate was printing money. Why? Because when they went through their cold streak, which is going to happen no matter how good you are, no matter how profitable of a year you have, you're going to have a cold streak. That would wipe me out always. I would go broke during that. So no matter how much we had profited, once we started losing, I'd start over betting. I'd start chasing, start doing all that stupid shit that we do that breaks us over and over and over and over and over again. That's it. So I promise you, if you're ever going to jump on board with me, and again, this is free and open. We're going to get to the information, but I'm telling you now, if you're ever going to jump on board with me, do it for football. I finished number 1 in college football 2 of the last 3 years. It's not by accident. I didn't get lucky. I didn't defy probability. I didn't hit 70%. We hit 55, 56%. That's it. And we printed money. We get a little lucky this year, forget about it. Last year, number 1 in profit, NFL, college football combined. If you're ever going to jump on board, do it now for football season. And more importantly, get the blackjack course, because we're giving it away for free. And actually study it. Whether you plan on playing blackjack, whether you're funded to play blackjack or not. I promise you, if you want to be a winning sports bettor, if you really want to do this and use the market as an investment vehicle like I have, you can do it. I'm no sharper, smarter than any of you guys. Most of you are more educated than me. Start off at a better starting point than I did. My starting point was $600. I came here 25 years old, $600. The last car I bought cost 6 figures, and I bought it in cash pretty much. That's not a brag. That's just, you can, if I did it, you could do it. I'm financially free. And I'm not any smarter than any of you guys. I started with 40 dimes. I saved up 40, not even 40 dimes, but I bet as if I had 40 dimes, because I knew I was working and money was coming in. And I started bet sizing 100 to 500, 1x to 5x. And now I'm betting 1,000 to 5,000. And I could bet more than that, but I don't. Why? Because I invest in other freaking markets now. So I may have a losing month in sports. I have some work to make up in 2026. Fortunately for me, I have 5 months to do it. But I do have to have some units to make up. But lucky for me, I'm up over 60+% on my portfolio. So again, you can get there, bro. It just takes time. And my mistake was I wanted it when I was 30. And I hadn't worked in my 20s for it, so I didn't deserve it when I was 30. And then I wanted it when I was 35. But I hadn't worked in my 25 to 35 to deserve it, right? Let's get back to muscle and fitness. What do I say? You guys aren't in here by accident. You're fucking sharp. That's why you're in this room. Because you know I'm not talking shit. You know the difference between the influencers on gambling Twitter and someone that actually does this shit for real. You know. Just from the information I give you and the results I've produced, that I'm not talking shit. And I'm telling you, if I can do it, you can do it. But what you need is that patience. And finally, with Advantage Blackjack, I saw the real time. And it was almost 40 years old. I was 40 years old. I had a house. I was paying for it though. Had a car that I had paid off, used car, 6, 7 years old. I was making a living like anyone else, paying my bills. And no matter how good I was doing betting sports, once a cold streak came, I was wiped out. Never was able to build until I finally said, I'm going to do it the right way. And most of you guys in here know the right way. You know when you should buy points or not buy points. You know what you should tease and not tease. You know when you should parlay, and that's almost never. You know when you should bet for action, that's almost never. In fact, that is never. You know that. You know you shouldn't take bad numbers. You know you should have tons of outs so you could shop for lines. You're sharp. You know that shit. But can you follow through? Can you do that while you're winning? Sure, it's easy. Can you do it when you're losing? That's what the Steam Room's for. We come here every week and remind each other. I know some of my subscribers are like, fuck, Ace, again. We've heard this before. Again, forgive me. But this is not by accident. This is by design. There's a reason fighters practice the same move 1,000 times. You see them in the gym doing that exact same kick 1,000 times. Why? So it becomes muscle memory. So it's automatic. That's what we train for in here. So that when we're out there in the real world and we're losing, we're not chasing. When a number's gone, we don't fucking go after it. That's the key. That's the key. That's what we're in here for, to help each other out. Now, there's some questions, so let me get to them. But remember, I'm going to use the analogy again. Why don't I look like I'm on the cover of Muscle Fitness? Why? I know what I'm supposed to eat. I know how I'm supposed to work out. I know the testosterone I could get from my doctor. I know the peptides I could order online. All that shit's available to me. Good, healthy food, awesome fucking diet plans, the best workouts, all available for free. Why don't I look like I'm on the cover of Muscle Fitness? We all want to look like that. Every man on the planet wants to look like that. Because I don't deserve it. Because I don't have the discipline and the patience that it takes to have that body. I don't eat like those guys. I don't sleep like those guys. I don't work out like those guys. My lifestyle doesn't reflect what those guys do for 24 hours a day. So why should I look like that? You got to ask yourself when you wake up tomorrow, why should I be a winning sports bettor? Why? Why do I deserve to be a winning sports bettor? And why do I deserve to have acquired a bankroll, wealth? Have I done the right things over and over and over and over again? Do I correct instead of repeat? Or do I keep repeating the same mistakes? Am I doing 24 hours a day what a winning sports bettor does? Because a winning sports bettor doesn't take a bad number. A winning sports bettor isn't betting the TCU game because it's the first one on TV this year. See where I'm coming from, brother? Now, if you asked me, I'd have put you on the over. That's what our power ratings reflect. But it got so much steam under, I wasn't going to fade that sharp action. But when I saw all the squares on it as well, I almost wanted to. But we got enough stuff. Let's get on to today's stuff. And let's start making some fucking money. College football is here. Like I told you, we don't power rate the extra board. So the extra board, I'm going to be, I gave you them as premiums the other day because that's all that's available. Okay. And some Saturdays you may get an extra board game, but where it's going to come is in the Steam sheet, like today's Steam sheet. All the extra board information that comes in, you're going to get immediately on that Steam sheet. Okay. And you know that the Steam sheet has all the college football today, preseason, WNBA, Major League Baseball, everything's on there, even next week's college football. So again, that's not a guarantee every day, but every day that I have time to produce it, you will get it for free as a subscriber. Now, yeah, UFC, we did good. We hit our 5%, baby. I'll take it. We start the day up a couple units. Could have been better. I left off a couple winners, but last week I kept off a couple losers. So that always balances itself out. But I'll take it. We hit a nice plus 130 as a 5%. And since May 1st, I know we're number one in profit in MMA. And I know I'm crushing now. I know I'm top 3 for sure, MMA in 2026. And I told you, coming in, I've won 5 straight years, and last year I lost. What do you think's going to happen? This isn't a brag, but I get really good at. I've been following MMA for a long time. I've been betting profitable in MMA for a long time. I work with the UFC. I've now 8 years. I've won on their show for 7 of those years. Like, I know I win in MMA. It's well documented. People could tease and this and that with some TV or whatever, that nonsense. But numbers don't lie. So coming off a losing year, if you're ever going to follow a guy, that's when you do it. The guy wins 5 straight years, number one in profit 3 of those years. He has a losing year. Fuck. Next thing I want to do, of course. But squares do the opposite. They run from, they jump off the winning guy and look for the hot hand. Dude, stick with people that have a proven track record, that have a history of being right, and you'll do just fine. Great question. How do I handle a losing streak? Do I lower my wager size or make any changes to what I do? Best fucking question, because we're all going to have losing streaks. Even during your most profitable years, remember this, your most profitable year over that 12 months, you will have stretches that look like you don't even know, you don't even watch sports, that you're throwing darts and you're going to question everything. But here's the beauty. When you learn to bet size correctly and you've already established your risk of ruin, that question's already answered. You're a robot. So the risk of doing something wrong is eliminated unless you fuck up. Here's why. Because on January 1st, or the first day anyone jumps on board with me, here's what I tell them. Let's establish your bet size immediately. I send out ratings from 1% to 5%. That's a rating. That's not a bet size recommendation. 1 being the weakest, 5 being the strongest. My recommendation, you bet 0.25% of that rating. So it's a 4% rating. What's 25% of 4%? What's a quarter of 4%? 1%. So my subscribers know when I send out a 4% rating, they're going to bet 1% of bankroll. So they've already established that. So if they have a $10,000 bankroll, they're betting $100. That's it. 5% play, they're betting 125 on a dog to win 125 on a favorite. Never more than that. That's correct. With a $10,000 bankroll, they're instructed to never bet more than 125. And you know what that's produced? 9 winning years out of 11 since 2015. So it may sound boring. You may not get rich overnight. But look what I did. Because you're compounding. You're not going to bet that same amount next year because now your bankroll's 15, 20,000. Now that 1% is $200. Eventually that 1% is $500. See how that works? There's 2 pieces of a bankroll. Bankroll, bet size. This is the percentage of bankroll. This is the bankroll. This is going to change. Your bankroll is going to grow. It's going to shrink. It's going to grow. It's going to shrink. This can't change. Or else you're increasing your risk of ruin. It has to be 1%. So if this bankroll is at 10,000, you're betting 1%. If it's at 5,000, you're betting 1%. Your risk of ruin is the same. But when it gets to 20,000 and you're betting now 200, when it gets to 50,000 and your 1% is 500, guess what? Your risk of ruin is still the same. You're now betting 5x what you were betting before without increasing your risk. That's how you build wealth in this industry. If you want to use the sports betting market to build wealth, you want to use the stock market to build wealth, that's how you do it. You compound your gains. That's it. It hasn't been called the 8th wonder of the world by accident. Compounding interest is the key for normal people like us to build wealth if you're not born with it. That's how a guy like me, who comes from 2 parents that didn't graduate elementary school, that's correct. My mom was told to stop school at 2nd grade because she knew already how to read and write. My father was told to stop school in 4th grade because he had to go to work. Both came to America and didn't speak English. And I'm the product of that. So when I started school at 5 years old, I had my vocabulary was 3 or 5 words. Most kids' vocabulary by that time is thousands of words, probably, especially if their parents are educated. They've heard thousands of words. I knew Greek, and I knew 3 to 5 English words. So don't tell me how difficult life could get like that. You're starting from behind. That was my starting point to build financial freedom. No one to teach me this is how you save, this is how you compound. So I made every mistake you could make. Every mistake. I've gone broke. I've had my electric cut off. I've been evicted. I've done every job you can imagine. I've driven a cab. I've bartended. I've been a waiter. There's no shame in work. There's shame in being a thief. There's no shame in working, no matter what you have to do. The first job I took in Vegas was for $5 an hour. I swear on my mother, $5 an hour. I took a job here, and it wasn't 1800, bro. This was 1996. What choice did I have? I landed here with $600. I had never been here. Nobody was waiting for me. I didn't have a place to stay. Didn't have a car. Didn't have a job. What was I going to do? I got offered a job for $5. I took it and just asked how many hours could I work. Maxed me out. So it's doable, dude. It's doable. But it takes time. And my goal now, for those younger guys that I'm sharing these experiences and knowledge with, is for them to avoid some of those mistakes. And I'm telling you, if you weren't born wealthy, if you're not inheriting wealth, or you don't get lucky by being that 1 in a billion that's a ball player, the only way you're going to get there is patience and a lot of discipline. You're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices and have patience and discipline, but the payoff is worth it. I promise you. The end result is more than worth it for your time. So, Joe, the way you handle it, the way my guys handle it is by sticking to the blueprint. That's it. And we know we don't adjust until we double bankroll or lose half of it. When we lose half our bankroll, now we adjust bet size. We lower it. But until we lose half the bankroll or double our bankroll, which is a good problem to have, we're not concerned. That's where you got to get to whether you're winning or losing, you're robotic. The best traders in the world, they know how much of percent of their portfolio they're putting on each stock based on its risk profile. That's it. How far am I going out on the risk curve? That's going to be how I'm going to bet size. You have to do the same thing. Are you ready for this? You can do it. I'm living proof, bro. Quick question. You mentioned to have leans, power rankings when you're sharing Steam. How do you go about creating my own power rankings? What metrics should I look at? Well, 2 weeks ago, I shared the power ratings I have to start the season. Top 10 in NFL, top 10 in college football. Before week 1 of the NFL, I will release them once again with any adjustments. I tell my guys to start with 100 in college football as the top rated team. And I tell them to start with 11 in the NFL and work their way down. And that's, what metrics you're going to use. Again, everybody's secret sauce. Nobody's going to share that, especially if their power ratings are good. Like mine, you see what they've done. I hired a quant. I'm not going to lie. They're not mine, but I fed him what's important. What data is predictive? What do I think data is actually going to be predictive to giving us the most efficient implied win probability for different markets? He understood the questions I wanted answered. It took a while, took a year more. Now it's been 3 years that I've implemented them. And like it shows, 2 of the last 3 years finished number 1 in profit. When it comes to especially college sports, he's just so on point. So I use a quant. There's sets of power ratings out there. You could go online and Google power ratings. You could go to Claude and ask for power ratings. But again, everybody has an opinion. Whose is right? at the end of the day. Just like all models are broken, you know, it's just all models at the end of the day are going to be wrong. It's just how helpful are they? How that everyone going in, that's kind of what you're working with. How helpful can you make your power ratings? How efficient can they become? Again, that's on each of us based on our own secret sauce. My own, I feel very comfortable where we're at, pretty much with all the sports we're doing right now. Ace, can you still beat the game with automatic shuffler? Absolutely not. Automatic shuffler, yes. Continuous shuffler, no. Okay? If we're talking about two different things. Automatic shuffle is where they take the whole deck and it just shuffles it for them. The whole deck at one time. That's fine. I mean, unless you're able to clump cards and you're able to cut to the ace, which I saw one guy do that. Again, I've been an advantage blackjack player since 2009 now, so I'm going on 17 years, and I've met one guy in my lifetime that could cut to the ace. That's it. And that gives you over a 30% edge over the house, believe it or not. That's one guy. That's it. So unless you can do that, automatic shuffle don't matter. It's just shuffling for random shuffle. Continuous shuffle is unbeatable because you can't count. They're just after each hand, there's stuff in the cards into the machine. You're never playing a full 6 decks, a full 2 decks. You're constantly playing a mixture of you don't even know. So you don't play continuous shuffle. That's in the course. I tell you, in the course, you're going to know which games to play, which games not to play, which rules to look for. Stand on soft 17, hit soft 17. There's differences. You learn all of that, brother. All of that. Those are the things that matter. You know what matters more? What's penetration? How deep are they dealing? Where are they putting that cut card? That's the most important thing. Can you talk the dealer into, if they don't have the slot, the slit where they put the cut card automatically? Can you talk the dealer into backing that cut card up? Oh, I teach you a couple of those tricks in there. I'm a master of that. I have that dealer wanting to show off for me, where he puts that yellow card so far back that in double deck, I probably get, maybe he leaves like 12 cards at the end, 15 max. In 6 deck, my man's dealing me 5.5, 5.75. Do you know what kind of advantage you increase your count system by getting them to deal deeper? There's nothing more important. Yeah, I'll teach you all that, my brother. Blackjack question, Harvey, fire. My man, thank you, Yodi. Thank you, brother. God bless you and yours, bro. Thank you. God bless you and yours. Thank you. True count is 3 or more. You have a blackjack and dealer is showing ace. Should he never take even money? Never take even money. Never. The only time you would take even money is on your lowest bet as a giveaway to cover your count. That's the only reason I would ever do that. I understand why you're saying you have the true count. So you're thinking, usually I would get insurance because it's above the +1. I know exactly where you're coming from. But you would only take it in that instance if you did it before and you do it on the low bets to throw them off. It's like, here, let me give you guys the best example. Should you hit your 16 against a 10? Dealer's showing a 10, you have a 16. Do you hit it or don't you hit it? I'm sure most are saying hit, right? Ace teaches his advantage players, never fucking hit that 16 unless you're showing off. Here's why. Because you're gaining 0.003% edge by hitting the 16, okay? Here's the difference. As a card counter, when you have a true count of +1 or better, +5 or better, +10 or better, are you going to hit your 16 against a 10? No, right? So why would I hit it during my lowest bet? Why would I give them that tell away? Instead, I want to look like a square. So when the count's going to tell me when I have a 16 versus a 10, I don't hit that motherfucker. If I have a positive count, I don't hit it. When my biggest bets are out there, I don't hit it because the count's high. The probability of me getting a bus card is high. So I'm not going to hit my 16. Right? With my big bets, with my monsters. When I'm max betting, I'm not hitting my 16. Well, guess what? I'm already going to set the casino up for that maneuver by not hitting my 16 when I have $10 out there. Then they're not going to look at me again when I have my 1,000 out there and I'm not hitting it. He never hits his 16, they're going to say. A simple maneuver like that will buy you a fucking year. Believe it or not. A maneuver like that will buy you a year at a property. That's the shit that I teach you in that course. That's the stuff that's not in books, that you don't get in a book. No blackjack card counting book's going to teach you that. I learned that from experience, from playing. And I started saying, wait a minute, why am I outmaneuvering the casino and doing advantage play by hitting the 16 because it's a negative count? And I know there's, you know, more low cards, the more low cards, the composition more low than high. What am I going to show off for? My minimum bet. When for my max bets, the ones that matter, that are going to determine whether I win or lose, I'm not going to ever hit. Why give them the tell now? By hitting the 16 for $10 and then saying stay when it's 1,000. Come on, man. I got you, Harvey. Trust me when I tell you, bro. If you're ever going to take a blackjack course, that's the one. We sell it. We sell it. I told you. I paid 5 dimes for it. I took a course from a dude that was associated with the MIT group, that they wrote all the books, bringing down the house, all that shit. And like I tell you, it was worth it? Probably not for me, but it's worth it for other, if you weren't already an advantage player. Yamas Sakalitis. All right, let's get moving because I want to give you guys plays. All right. Tommy, simple, baby. Odds logic. That's changed, game changer for me. And if you go to my page, please put that up there. For odds logic, you get a free trial. I don't get anything for it, bro. I pay for it. I get a discount. I'm not going to lie to you, but I pay for the service. It's awesome. I've always paid for a line service because the way I bet, I need up to the second. Like I can't have a minute delay. That costs me money. So I use odds logic, and I have a link on my page that you get like a free week. I used to give away a free month. I had a good deal with them where they'd give away a free month, and that's how I got my discount. But yeah, odds logic, that's it. There's even Steam plays are shown on there, and they keep adding shit. Like soon, I think there's going to be ARB plays on there. Like it's the shit, dude. It's got poly market, Kalshi lines. Yeah, all that shit. Yep. Jeff, it depends. I tell people use the count that you're most comfortable with. That's the bottom line. Like, again, I used the level 3 count at one point, and it wasn't worth it. Like there's level 1, level 2, level 3 counts. I have OCD, so when I dive into something, forget about it. It's a gift and a curse. The gift is like you go all out, you go all in. The curse is you don't know how to stop. So when I got into card counting, bro, I went really, really deep, like really, really deep. And I wanted to max out my edge, and I knew a level 3 count's going to do that for me. So I mastered a level 3 count. Here's the problem. The chance of making a mistake is high. In a level 2 count, the chance of making a mistake is decent. Like you'll make some mistakes. The trade-off isn't worth it. If you could master a good level 1 count and master it where you make 0 mistakes, It's as efficient as a level 2 count for sure, and almost as efficient as a level 3 count because it's very hard not to make mistakes with a level 3. Like Ken Houston used a level 3. Stanford Wong could use a level 3. Guys that could use a level 3 or next level are like genius level. I'm not that. So I knew I was going to make some mistakes. So the trade-off to me wasn't worth it. And if anything, it doesn't even help your betting decisions. It helps your playing decisions when you deviate from basic strategy. And the problem with that is that's what gives it away. If you're constantly deviating at the right times, that's a huge tell. Because at one time you're not hitting, the next time you are. And you only do it at the right time. That's why I told you with the soft 16, with the 16 against a 10, there's no bigger tell than that for card counters. They know to look out for that. Is this guy hitting when he's got his small bets on the 16 and staying when he's got his big bets? That's the first tell. So I urge you to use a count that you could master. If the count you're using, you know that mathematically it gives you an advantage in bet size and playing, because there's 2 efficiencies in blackjack, and they're never going to, the highest correlation, like I said, is a level 3. And even there, it's not perfect. But there's playing decisions, betting decisions. Okay. 2 pieces of the blackjack puzzle: what you bet and your decisions. And your decisions for betting are stand, hit, double down, split. That's it. You got 4 decisions to make. And bet size. That's all you're doing. Now, with level 1, again, you're not making those mistakes. You have just as powerful of a betting efficiency as almost the level 3. It's the playing efficiency where it's a little weaker. But as I teach in the class, the main deviations that matter. Like I said, there's over 100 deviations from basic strategy. If you go deep, there's over 100 times that you should deviate from perfect basic strategy. If you just learn the top 20, you capture 99% of the gains. So people spend the trying to master 90 more playing decisions to capture 1% more of gain. It's not worth it. Just because remembering them and deviating is the chances of making the mistake are just so high. It's hard enough to remember the top 15, 18, 20. But remembering the top, all 100 plus, forget about it. So believe me, and Jeff, that's where it's at. With that course, I cover those because what you're talking about, that's what matters. Those are the things I love. When I see questions like that now I know you guys are thinking at the right level. All right. G, can you speak to the Stanford at Miami game next week and usually how the power ratings rank this game versus existing odds? Well, I can tell you what I would make the number right now. Miami, Stanford. Let me get that for you. I know Stanford's way down in my ratings. Okay. On a neutral field, we'd make, and this isn't getting down to the 10th of 100th, but we would make Miami a 20-point favorite over Stanford on a neutral field. On a neutral field. Let me see. What do they got next week? What's that up? Yeah, look, they got Miami 21.5. Look, we're on point, bro. I swear to my mother, bro. I didn't even look. I didn't look at that line yet. I didn't know it. I mean, I'm sure I looked at next week's lines. We already have a bet for next week for subscribers. But yeah, see, I make Miami a 20-point favorite on a neutral. You see it got bet up from 21.5, 24.5. I don't trust it right now. I'd take the Stanford side, but a lot of it's going to matter today. If Stanford gets blown out today, then we're going to get more points than we should. And Stanford will make a great bet next week. If Stanford goes out there and kicks ass today and wins by double digits, this line will probably go back, towards that opener. But right now, off this number, I like Stanford. Hold on, I got to answer this. All right. So as far as Stanford, Miami, a lot of it's going to have that line based off of this, what happens here. And I gave the Stanford handicap, if you watch Bet on it, returning 60% of their production from last year. The Andrew Luck factor now, how they bring in a new coach that knows the system, though. A lot of new coordinators. There's a lot of excitement for Stanford. Again, they're not expected to win a lot of games, though, because tough strength of schedule. Like I said, we have them pegged to win about 4 games. But the team they're playing today is going to win more games than them. But Stanford's still better. Strength of schedule means everything, brother. I don't understand. Love the drip. I'm not sure what that means. How I keep my sports betting account, Nicholas? Great question. I work with the same people I've worked for a long time. I give them a cut to stand for the money. And that's where I've gotten the successful. I've gotten burned for a lot of money throughout my lifetime. That's for sure. I've had books that don't pay because it's sharp. I've gotten accounts cut off. I still get accounts cut off. But I pay agents to find me accounts and I give them a cut. And they know when I lose, they're going to get paid right away. So they're not worried about my side. And they only try to work with books that they have relationships with that aren't going to fuck them. They get their cut, I'm sure, from the book when I lose. They get their cut from me when I win. They're happy. They make money. I make money. Everybody's happy. So that's how I've been able to keep betting accounts open. And I don't really go searching for more. Again, I'm always open to partnering with people, good people and new accounts, but I don't go really searching because of that issue. But now with Kalshi and Polymarket, no one should have a problem finding liquidity. If you can post, like if you have the cash to post, and if you're bet sizing correctly, you should be able to post. And I mean, shit, just go to Kalshi Polymarket. You get fair lines, great VIG, and you're not going to get cut off. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Oh, my man. NC State, Virginia game. I have Virginia -3. -3. And that's why I bet Virginia on the money line. I got Virginia money line today. I think they do cover that 4. And it opened 3. It jumped as high as 6.5. And I think we shorted them on home field. That's why I'm comfortable betting them on the money line. At -3, I would lay 2, but at 4, I like the money line better, especially it was discounted. They had it up at like 170 something. Even now, Polymarket's 178. Anything under 180 at a -4 at home, especially when it was juiced. My sharpest shops have 4 -15. So, and they're charging 195 on the money line. So my sharpest shops charging 195 on the money line, and you could get down 178 right now at Kalshi Poly Market. That's why those places are gold, man. I know books hate them, but I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan. The only negative is you have to post. You know what I mean? You have to post. And the amounts I bet, keeping that kind of paper in, accounts that aren't generating interest, I feel like a jerk off. I could stick it in Kraken and get 5.5%. You know what I mean? By make it in USDC and just, letting them fucking trade it. All right, let's go over to Steam today real quickly. I gave you guys the added games. Again, that's where it's at. NC-A&T plus 7.5. Campbell plus 8.5. Stonehill plus 4.5. Over 45. Bryant Stonehill. Under 51.5. Central Connecticut and South Dakota. And Central Connecticut plus 23. And then that Robert Morris game over that already started. College football, there's a ton of Steam on the Steam sheet in there. We could go through the games real quickly. I'll let you know what I have. Let me get through college football because it's a free Steam room today. So let me give the guys a quick idea of what we do. All right, so let's get to college football. Here's the info that we have. Let's start off at the top of the board. New Mexico and Florida State. Sharp money, Florida State. They steamed Florida State from 28-29. They came back. They hit them at 30.5 yesterday. So a lot of sharp money is on Florida State. Public's on Florida State also. Not as one-sided as you would think. It's not a game. It's about maybe 60-40 public. But they love the over. Ton of over money from the betting public. And it's all one-sided. All one-sided over money from the public money. Power rated, we have this game going under. In fact, I'm very close to releasing a premium to subscribers on the under in Florida State and New Mexico State because my quant and the handicap that I have likes the under in this matchup. So we're probably going to go under as a premium play. Let's move on to, that's okay. CS to Sacramento and Eastern Michigan. Nothing there. I think there was some Eastern Michigan money at -8 that we saw. Power rated wise, what do I have it? I see value on Sacramento. We have this game power rated at a touchdown. So we have Eastern Michigan should be about a 7.5 point favorite. It's not a big enough move to where I would take Sacramento unless, I looking at the matchup, I really liked it for any reason. And this is first game of the season. I mean, we're going off mostly last year's data and this year's projection. So it's hard to have conviction. Hawaii, Stanford, you already know I like Stanford. We made the game closer to a touchdown. This game was about 6.5 earlier in the week. The wide receiver, #1 production guy for Hawaii, had the knee surgery. That was a lot of the question mark throughout the summer. He will play, supposedly healthy. That's why you saw a little take back on Hawaii. And, all the hype with that freshman quarterback that's now in his sophomore season. Personally, I think they regressed a little bit. And more importantly, you know what Hawaii does on the mainland? They haven't won against a power conference team since 1992. We're going, 30 plus years, dude. They just don't travel well. They just don't travel well. Now, again, I did mention they're playing at a time zone that's not as damaging for them, but still under. Sharps bet under. Public likes it under also in the Stanford game. We have that one at 49.5. So we have it in between. It opened at 50.5. Is at 48.5. So no value based on what we have. USC, San Jose State. Now USC got steamed and the public jumped on board as well. And when it got to as high as 40, that's when you saw some take back on San Jose State. So sharps bet USC minus 35.5, 36. Public started betting UFC all the way up to 40. That's when you saw some other sharp money come in and take San Jose State plus 40. Now you got to remember, these guys are betting numbers, not teams, just like me. They have a power rating. If the number's off, they're going to bet it. So obviously they must have had USC around 35-point favorite. It got to 40. They're going to take the dog. It's as simple as that. Over. One-sided public money. I'm talking 9 out of every 10 bets is on the over in the USC game. That totals up to 60.5 now. Again, not a big move considering it was 61.5 earlier this morning. If you looked at like 4 a.m. our time, I got up, you're looking at like 61s, 61.5. So considering you're getting all this money on the over and not any respect in the market, I'd be very careful if I was betting that over. We have that one scoring 52 points actually. So what do they have there? 61. See, we have the under. I like the under in San Jose, USC. Another under we may be on. Well, that may be another under we're on. So I told you guys. These are on point. So we're under Florida State, under USC. Keep them in mind. We still have time between now and kickoff. USC starts in an hour. I'll let you know what in the next 30 minutes if we're going to fire. I'll actually send the text out. UNLV and Memphis. Saw two-way action here. Early steam on UNLV. Saw some late take back on Memphis. Over money from the betting public. One-sided. They're betting the over. We have this game at 61. So I actually like the game over as well. But with the total moving the way it has, I wouldn't mess with it. It opened near my total. It opened 59.5. Now it's down to 56.5. So it could be player related. It could be weather related. Like those. Now, obviously it's summer still, but those are the questions that I'd be asking. When I see a matchup that differs from my power rating, that's when I dig a little deeper. Am I missing something? Are there players out? Is it a weather related move? Or is it just recency bias? Did this team get blown out last week? Did this team blow someone out last week? Like those are the questions I start to ask if the number differs from my power rating. Here, obviously, started moving against us. So this is one I would automatically avoid. NC State and Virginia, you already know. I like the Virginia side. The number got away from me. It climbed as high as 6.5 at one point. Now, at 6.5, I understand why you saw some NC State money, especially with a total that's been steamed under from 53 down to 51. So lower total, less points expected. Each point matters more. You get it bet up from 3 to 6.5. You got to expect some dog money. That's not going to scare me. Now it's sitting above that key number. That's good for Virginia. If it went back to 3, we'd have to reassess. But where it sits now at 4, we're comfortable. We're good. Finally, Jacksonville State, North Dakota State. This one threw me a little bit. Now I know Sharps took Jacksonville State at double digits at plus 10, plus 9.5, plus 9, plus 8. I get it. We have this power rated. Let me tell you. I knew it was higher. Yeah, we have them winning by 11. I have North Dakota State winning by 11. So when it opened 10, that makes sense. We have it by 11. Okay, it's not bettable. Now down to 6.5. And this is a big game for North Dakota State to show they belong. I'm a little surprised that there hasn't been buyback. Like it went through the key 7. So something's up. When I see that, I back up. I'm not going to butt heads with that much sharp action. Like, you know, that's sharp information. You know, it's not the recreational bettors that did this. They're not going to drive a line through key numbers like that. Starts at 10, goes through 7, 2. Are you kidding me? That's a ton of sharp money that forced that. Now, I'm not going to piggyback it either. There's no freaking value jumping on the side now, even if Jacksonville State information's strong. I'm I'm not going to take 6.5 when I could have got 7.5 yesterday, 8.5 3 days ago, and 10.5 a week ago. Makes no sense. We don't bet bad numbers. And you move on to the next one. The goal is place good bets. If you place good bets, the job takes care of itself. And you'll know if you place good bets long term, because when the dust settles, you'll be up. You can't sweat each result. You're going to make a lot of good bets that lose. Let me repeat that. You will make a lot of great bets that lose. And there'll be a lot of bad bets win. Losing bets win all the time. Winning bets lose all the time. Hey, let me prove it to you. As I'm speaking, someone just hit a number on roulette. Right down the street, there's a casino. It used to be right downstairs, but I no longer live in a casino. But right down the street's a casino. Someone, as I'm speaking, just hit a roulette number and got paid 35-1. And his friends are high-fiving. Hookers and cocaine tonight, brother. Good night. Good night. We're going to Encore Beach Club, and then it's cocaine and hookers. But that was a terrible bet. That wasn't a good bet. He got paid 35-1. There's 38 spots on the table. There may be 39. They may have double zeros. So unless he got paid 39-1 or 40-1, 41-1, that would be a good bet. 45-1 would be a phenomenal bet. 38-1 would be a fair bet, even bet. 39-1, even bet. It's not a good bet. And let me tell you this, if you walked up to a roulette wheel and you put your $10 down on number 28 and they said, for this roll, we're giving you 50-1, that's a phenomenal bet. You're probably going to lose, right? There's 38 numbers. You got 1 in 38 chance. You're probably going to lose. But you still placed a great fucking bet. You got paid 50-1. On a 35-1, 38-1 true odds. That's what a good bet looks like. Good bet is getting closing line value. That's how a casino sportsbook determines whether you're going to beat them or not. They don't determine it by how much money you won. That video that was shown of me getting kicked out of Mandalay Bay, I'm down at that property, down over $40,000. I know that for a fact from taxes. That at that property, I'm down $44,000 lifetime, and they won't let me play. Why? Because they don't like money? No, because they know it's a matter of time. That they got lucky. It wasn't me that got lucky. Like when someone goes in and hits them from the slot machine, beats them for a roulette number, beats them up at craps, they chalk it up to luck. They know you ain't going nowhere with that. They're going to get it back. That's the key. Place good bets. You place good bets, the rest take care of itself. That's the bottom line. All right. Now, let me see if there's any question. Now, I gave you Major League Baseball. You know what we bet today? I narrowed it down to two really good bets. One is that under in the Atlanta game, under 9, Atlanta, Colorado. Oh, man, that TCU North Carolina is probably going to go over. I should have bet it. And Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's starting in 2 hours. We got the Pittsburgh Pirates at plus money. And then we got the under 9 in Colorado and Atlanta. Now, a couple sharp plays for you guys in Major League Baseball. You ready? 903 over 8.5 Cincy and the Cubs. 906 Washington plus 110 and even money. Also under 8.5 and 8 Miami, Washington. 913 Boston plus 115, 110 and the under 8.5. 917 Seattle plus 120 all the way to plus 105 and the under 8 Seattle, Toronto. 925 Dodgers minus 150 all the way to minus 165 and under 8 and 7.5 versus Detroit. Under 8.5 Texas and Milwaukee. And let me give you some of the ones that I starred in the Steam sheet. The ones that I put asterisks next to, these are the ones that I like the most. Are you ready? In baseball, these are the ones that I agree with. Didn't release a premium, but I agree with. And in the accounts, I sprinkle a little more. 913 Boston, 913 under 8.5 Boston, New York. 917 Seattle plus 120 all the way to plus 105 and the under 8 in Seattle, Toronto. Under 8 LA Dodgers, Detroit. Under 8.5 Texas and Milwaukee. under 9.5 White Sox, Minnesota. 919 Kansas City plus 140. Kansas City and the over 7.5 versus Cleveland, over 7.5. 924 under 10 Baltimore Athletics. 928 Mets minus 130 and under 8.5. So that's Mets and under 8.5. And finally, under 8.5 Philly and LA. Make sure you pay attention to them, guys. If you're betting baseball, you're handicapping baseball, you're handicapping WNBA, you're handicapping preseason, college football, check your Steam sheet when it's available. The stuff I'm putting in there is sharp. And the stuff that I'm taking time to asterisk is stuff that I'm handicapping and looking at our power ratings and really agree with. Like it's not just throwing freaking line moves out there at you. I'm throwing legit stuff from accounts I have access to or other movers that we trade with that send me their stuff. All right. Now, what else do I have for you? CFL, Hamilton plus 6.5 and 6, Saskatchewan minus 3.5 and 4, and British Columbia minus 5.5 and 6. Preseason today, Indianapolis all the way to -3, but then they took Detroit, and they took Detroit all the way down to +3 and +2.5. So a big change of opinion in Detroit and Indianapolis. But Sharps did go over 35.5. And then in Chicago, Tennessee, they also went over in the Chicago, Tennessee game. We have Tennessee, as you know. We bet Tennessee. Damn, I liked over in that freaking Lions-Colts game. It was in your Steam sheet. Hopefully you guys bet it. Damn, that Steam sheet's freaking gold, dude. Fuck yeah. No wonder you guys love it when I don't have it. You guys ask for it. All right. Let me see if there's any questions. Then I'm going to get back to work. Again, next week, it's full time. We'll be in here at least 90 minutes, probably closer to 2 hours, because we're going to go through all the college football, and it's a big slate. And then the following week, we move to Sundays. And you know what we do Sundays? I go through each NFL game, and then I give you those teasers. 10 minutes before kickoff, 15 minutes before kickoff, we're going to put together our plus EV teasers and see how they do this year as well. So big stuff ahead for us. Remember, each and every week, you come on in and you ask any question you want. Yeah, Bob, what I would do, honestly, how I would use this, I would piggyback all my 4 and 5%, unless I disagreed. Like when you disagree, you don't bet it. Don't be foolish. You put yourself in a no-win situation. It's like when I have I really like Stanford today. If they came in with Hawaii, I would just pass. You know what I mean? And Virginia money line. Like if they were kept steaming the other side money line, I'm not going to do it. But my 4% are going to be profitable year in, year out. Those do really, really well. I don't just throw out 4% easily. A lot of 4% could be 5%, put it that way. But I don't do 5% very easy. In fact, what is it now, the 28th of this month? And I think I've given 5% play this month. I don't just use them, bro. My goal is for you to make money. If I don't do this to sell fucking picks, I could put a 5% pick out every freaking other day and sell a shitload of packages. I have a big brand. I have a history. Like that's not what I'm trying to do. When I rate a play, I rate it because it's warranted. I promise you. So jump on, what's it called? Those 4%, those 5%, and you'll do good. And the 3% and lower, I would follow the ones that I really like, that you love, and I just help confirm it for you. That's what I would move into. They did lose to Hawaii last year. Yes, they did. They lost to Hawaii last year. I would tell you, look at the box score, dig into the box score and how that game played out in the fourth quarter and where that game took place in Hawaii. So, but you bet what you like. Again, I am wrong plenty. I'm just going to be right more than I'm wrong. You're not going to get rich disagreeing with me, but there'll be plenty of times that you'll disagree with me and cash a ticket. That's a promise. I'm never going to be 100%. I'm not going to be 90%. I'm not going to be 80%. But especially when it comes to college football, when the dust settles, I'll have turned a profit. Now, let me just check if anything else came in, and I will let you guys go. Let me check the accounts to see if we got any added college football. Yes, we do. Are you ready? You ready? Extra board games. Extra board games. I'm not going to give these out to subscribers because, again, this is the stuff that I used to give out to subscribers. And this is when we would have all that volume in college football. Again, those were all profitable years because of this stuff is good. But the difference is you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bets already today in college football. And with the Stanford and Virginia, you'd have 11 bets. And that's just too much volume. I've realized that. But we added Prairie View plus 20.5, Prairie View plus 20.5 and 20. And then Lamar plus 7.5 and 7. So Prairie View plus 20.5 and 20, Lamar plus 7.5 and 7. Those will be added to your Steam sheet. That's the only additions. Make sure you check back in the next 15 minutes because we may be on that under as a premium in college football. So make sure you keep your eyes open for your text, your email, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be firing 1 or 2 more college football bets. So I'm just adding Lamar plus 7.5 and Prairie View plus 20.5 to your Steam sheet. That's gold. That's gold. And if you have your computer open and you have your sports books ready to go as it's coming in the Steam room, like that instant message is going to be coming in live throughout the season. Like right now we have an open Steam room. I spent more time talking and then checking accounts. But when we're in deep, that's all you're getting. Nonstop information coming in like that. And my recommendation to my subscribers is to bet it, even for 1%, as a 1% rating, 0.25. So if they're betting, $100 on the 4%, bet $25 on all these. Just bet 25 on every extra board game that you get the number in, or even make it a 2% play. Do a 0.5%, 0.50. 0.50 on all the extra board games, you'll make money. You'll make money this year. Like the account that I have access to does every year. These guys, that's all they bet. It's like 2 of them, and they just bet these extra board games. I got all 11 of them, man. Again, I could put this out on social media to try to build a big following, but instead, I keep it to my guys. Because then, you're not here to move markets. We're here to beat markets. So, with that said, what do we got? Hold on. Oh, yeah, that's good for the power ratings, bro. That's good for the power ratings. That's why I didn't give out TCU. We have North Carolina as the value side, but TCU caught so much steam. Again, this first week, guys, remember, the first week, this week and next week, college football is different than any other week, just like the first week of the NFL. Be very cautious and very selective. Why do you think I don't have a lot of volume? These lines have been up for months. They've been betting the shape. There's not much value come game day, except for those lines that the public knocks out of whack. So we got to get through next week of college football and then that first week of NFL. And then it starts to matter getting out ahead of the market each and every week. And the game changes. The game really starts to change. But this week and next week, very different. These lines have been up there for long. Most of them are going to move in both directions. The favorite's going to go up, then it's going to go down. The total's going to go up, then it's going to go down. And you're left wondering, is the sharp over or under? Is the late move the right side or the early move the right side? You don't want to be guessing. You don't want to be in that position. But that's what happens when lines are up for a month. So we just deal with it. And we grind and we do what we do every year, baby. When the dust settles, you know what we're going to do. So with that said, best of luck the rest of the week, the rest of the month, the rest of the year. If you jump on board, welcome to the team. Remember what we do this for, to profit year over year. We're not doing this to pay this week's rent, take our girlfriend out for Valentine's Day. We treat it like a business, so it pays like a business. If you want to do it for entertainment, God bless you. I wish you have the most fun with it and you even make a couple scores. But if you're going to treat it like a business and you put your hard-earned money, you owe it to yourself to at least attempt to do it the right way. That's what we're here to do. And best of luck to you moving forward. Again, I wish you luck and keep grinding. Make it difficult on the books. Don't make it easy on them. That's the goal. That's the goal. So God bless you and yours. And Christ is King. All the answers are right there for you in the New Testament. And best of luck to all. Go Stanford. Go Virginia. Go Tennessee. Go Pittsburgh. Go under in Atlanta. And listen, real quickly, I bet a little more on those futures. Okay, so you know the college football teams to win the national championship, I bet a little more on them. I like them a lot. And I bet a little more on the NFL teams to win the Super Bowl. So those futures are already there. They're out. We bet two Super Bowl futures, 3 national championship futures, one of them 60-1 or greater. And then I'm done with season win totals. 3 season win totals in the NFL, 6 season win totals in college football. We're done with futures. Again, I bet a little more, but I wasn't going to increase that on the rating. I figure I'm just going to be able to tell you in the steam room, again, that we're feeling very, very confident. My man ran models again, and the same teams jumped out. Like he changed some of the factors and ran his models, like the 10,000 whatever simulations that he does. And he said, bro, the exact same thing we came up with a month ago is spitting out is just a little better now. So I feel good about our futures. At the worst, we're going to have equity. Like we will have a lot of equity to earn off these futures. Because if you see, we're not betting 3-1, 5-1s. Our teams are, 10-1, 20-1. So we'll have some equity. And best of luck the rest of the way. Remember, it's a long season. It's a long, long season. You got to grind. Don't go nuts on the first week. There'll be a week right after that, the following week. So best of luck. I got to go. And check your email in the next 10 minutes. I'll let you know if we're going under FSU. God